हे गाइस, यूपीएससी का इंटरव्यू चल रहा है तो मैंने सोचा मैं भी अपना यूपीएससी इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंस शेयर कर दूं. सो आई गेव द यूपीएससी वुड से 2023 interview which happened in 2024. So mine was in February. So I've already shared my result video and the final score result video. You can see that it's just interview video. I haven't shared it and someone in the comment mentioned it. So let's go through my experience. So first of all, I scored 180 out of 250 in the interview, which is a kind of decent score. So I have made some like presentation kind of thing, and we'll go through each point and discuss my experience and what we can do, and you can do to prepare well. Okay, let's start. Yeah, so my interview was around 20th February, and so the interview, so पहले आपको UPSC they'll give you a list of candidates, right, for each day of the interview, and all the candidates will be divided into two half. The first half will start in the morning and the second half will start in the lunch part. So mine was in lunch part. So I reached the UPSC office around like 12. So be at the UPSC office at least an hour before your reporting time, because and things can go wrong. You can be late, you can like forget some important documents, so please keep that in mind. Yeah, and then after you check in with the security people, go inside the UPSC office. They will divide you in a group, and each group will be given to a UPSC panel, and they'll tell you about which panel will take your interview, right? And meanwhile, while you're waiting, they'll give you forms and like survey kind of things. They'll fill, like, take all your information, verify your documents, right? And so let me just quickly explain what my interview setup was. So in my interview, the UPSC member Raj Shukla sir, so my panel head was Raj Shukla sir. So what usually happens is कि जो आपके पैनल में यूजली 5 मेंबर्स होता है, उसमें जो हेड होता है मेंबर, ही इज़ अ यूपीएससी मेंबर, as you have read in the polity, and the other 4 are guest member, right? So there were 5 members sitting like this, and my seat was right here and the gate was right here, right? So that was the setup. So I enter from here, right? And I say like good afternoon to so it's your choice. I said good afternoon to each and every like people member here, right? 5 times. No worries, just bow a little and say good afternoon and ask for permission to sit down. If they don't say sit down, then ask for permission, and if they say it, then you just sit down. Yeah, so when I sat down, and yeah, then my interview started. So let's go to the second page. I have a bunch of questions. Yeah. So let me tell you the sources of question I was asked. First overview, and then we'll go through each question. तो sources क्या थे questions के? So most important source was my DAF. सब आपको यही बोलेंगे, most important source is DAF, right? DAF has so much information about you, your interests, your experience, past experience, that of course they'll ask question from there. The second was I would say current affair, right? All the questions from the interview can be divided into this category. So, and even that, so in my experience, it was like 75 to 80% from here and 20 to 25% questions from current affair, right? Okay, so my first question was from Raj Shukla sir. He started with asking what my employment status was. Since I had mentioned job experience, I had job experience. So he was asking whether I left the job or I'm still employed. And then he started his question with Chanak. He asked what is the contribution of Chanak about his book. and he asked whether in Arthashastra, the Shastra, what did he emphasized on, the hard power or the soft power, right? And he asked about Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam versus defense expenditure, and I think the budget was released, so defense expenditure was in the current affair, right? So yeah, that happened. So one, I also I'll share some good things I did in the interview and some not so good things, bad things I would say. So in while we are answering question, we have to be lively and I would say on the spot, right? We can't be too mechanical. When we are mechanical, it sounds like unoriginal, right? It sounds rehearsed, and when something sounds rehearsed, you're not that impressed. Okay, so example of that is, so in my question it was asked why we are doing this, right? Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam is the I would say togetherness of the all the nations. Then why we are I would say spending so much on the defense expenditure? So what I said was that peace can only come from strength, and I connected this point to whatever Chanakya said. Remember, one of the reason for the downfall of the Mughal Empire was the Ashoka's greater emphasis on the Dhamma rather than the actual army and conquest. So that's how you can give the impression that you are constantly thinking and connecting things. The rest of some questions were straightforward. Question about my hometown, population, government issue. So whatever, just give a thought about जहाँ से आप आते हैं, what issues are there, make something unique. बहुत general आप नहीं बोल सकते, then it sounds like you haven't given a good thought about it. And give some your opinion, how can it be better, and what government is doing about it, and what are the challenges for government when they are doing it. So that was asked from me. And yeah, so I was my job was as a data scientist, so question was asked about that. It was straightforward question again. So see how they connected my job experience to the current affair. So in current affair, I think it was in budget, there was AI mission launched by Indian government, and they asked about it. So I gave the answer, but again, they in the follow-up they asked for what would be the cost of running data center, and I don't think it was a straightforward question. So I politely said I don't know, it depends on the multiple factors, so it's I don't know about it, and moved on, right? So it's very important to know your limits, because only aware and smart person will also know their limits, right? Because if you don't know your limit, they will know your limit, and it comes out as a dumb. So if you don't know anything, move on politely. Again, okay, this was from the another panelist. So they asked about what is the difference between law and order, Heisenberg uncertainty principle. So I have my graduation was in chemical engineering, so that's why these questions were, I think they were trying to ask me about chemistry. I had, so okay, this question was also mentioned in my mock interview. So see, this is why mock interview are kind of relevant, because see, your same DAF is presented in front of old civil servant, and they kind of they come from same background, so they kind of think alike. So this also helps. And the question was on guitar, so it was mentioned is my hobby, right? So they mentioned it, and I had kind of a story. So the story was that, okay, I was not a very outgoing person, but I I had interest in music, so I started playing guitar, so that was them. And yeah, this was from panelists, and the next question started with the about Kanpur. So my graduation is from IIT Kanpur, so the Kanpur question came naturally. Many people who were from IIT Kanpur were asked about Kanpur. So what this teaches you guys is look for the people who have similar background than you. If they have similar background, suppose you come from a college from Mumbai or Delhi or anywhere, look for people's transcript, search for the relevant question, it will help you out. Yeah, so I had a like mention of a no reading Nobel. So they had like all these questions were directly from the DAF. Yeah, so I think there were around 20 questions more or less, because all these questions had some kind of follow up. So I don't remember exactly because it's almost 2 years. So let me just finish off by saying this, how you can do it better. So first of all, DAF is very important, right? So what can you do is, like, mock, you can go for mock. Yes, it absolutely helps. Watch your mock back. Most of the coachings will give you the recording of the mock. Watch your mock back, no matter however you perform, because it's always a learning experience. The mock doesn't count, right? The actual interview counts. So go watch your mock, try prepare better, give better answers, right? And yeah, give better answers and humanize yourself. Don't be too mechanical. Being too mechanical, I would say, dehumanizes you, right? अगर आपका आंसर ऐसा लगेगा कि यू आर लाइक रीडिंग लाइक ए चैट जीपीटी, it gives a, I would say, wrong impression. Always give a humanistic answer. And so what's a humanistic answer? I would say, like in the question of guitar, they asked, like, do you play guitar? There's something to that effect. I didn't say, oh yeah, I learned guitar from my coach and I was very good at it, I was best in my college. See, that sounds, even if it was true, it sounds very, gives a wrong impression. What I said was that in my college, I was like part of music club. Someone shared guitar with me. I started playing guitar and I got decent in it. See, that's actually how normal people do it, right? That's a humanistic answer. So that's my first. So go through DAF, look for similar DAFs of previous years. So there are many Telegram groups जहाँ पे क्या होता है कि they'll share the transcripts, right? The transcripts of the last year's candidates. So go through all these questions and prepare them in front of mirror. मिरर के सामने आप क्लियरली बोलना सीखिए, कामली बोलना सीखिए एंड थिंक वाइल यू स्पीकिंग. ऑफ कोर्स शुरू में बहुत ही आपको ऑड लगेगा, अपना चेहरा भी देखने का मन नहीं करेगा, बट डू दिस एक्सरसाइज, ओनली देन यू कैन बी कॉन्फिडेंट. और अगर आपकी ज़्यादा बात करने की आदत नहीं है, अगर आप ज़्यादा सोशल नहीं है ना, तो आपके मुंह से ना क्लियरली वर्ड्स भी नहीं निकलेंगे. सो बी वेरी, आई वुड से, articulate when you speak. It shows the confidence, right? Sorry. So always, yeah, keep in touch with the current affair. Go extra deep. So you will need, I would say, the current affair is more important for interview than even the mains and the prelims, because in interview you're sitting just opposite to the interviewers and they can ask the follow-up up until they like, right? They can ask the follow-ups. So you have to, the knowledge should be on the depth. So do the research, go the extra mile. It will impress people, right? Okay, you know the issue at hand. So of course, again, in the mock interviews they always help, right? And yeah, so one misconception people have, that they ask, cross question, they cut your answers. I think that rarely happens. So please don't have this misconception. They are very cordial. They let you complete your answer, right? And so it's a very calm situation, and they promote you and they support you. Even if you are like struggling somewhere, ask for a minute. I remember I asked 1 minute for a question in Kanpur about leather industry pollution. I gave the answer, and the actually sir also corrected me and gave the better answer. So I said thank you. So like keep those things in mind. So I think that's it for the video. I actually am sorry, I was a little busy. I'll be making more videos about upcoming prelims, and I'll start working on my playlist.